Is it Mr. Wassenaar?
Yes, yeah.
Joshua? It's Judge Sara Smolenski.
Hi.
I know you tried to connect with us earlier and there was some problem with you not being able to work Zoom. How are you calling? What phone are you using now?
I'm using my wife's phone. It's a smartphone.
That's good.
I lost the paperwork with the directions.
Okay.
How to do it.
No, that's fine.
I'm not too tech savvy.
That's good. Neither am I. Tell me your date of birth.
March 11th, 1987.
Is the address that we're still using on Richmond any good, or is it a totally different?
Yeah, it's a different address.
Tell me what it is. Is it the one on Central Park?
Yes, ma'am.
In Baldwin?
Yes.
Okay, I got that. Are you calling from Baldwin now?
Yes.
Okay. This is a case you're going to remember because you were in the woods when the police officer came upon you. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a retail fraud third that they wanted to give you credit for the time that you were in custody, almost a month. Mr. Abuxia was your attorney from the public defender's office. He spoke with the prosecutor, and the indication was that if you did plead to the retail fraud second charge, they'd recommend no more jail. In other words, credit for time that you did so that you would not get any more jail.
Okay.
There still would be fines and court costs that you'd have to pay, but no more jail.
Okay.
You have the right, Mr. Wassenaar, to plead guilty or not guilty. You have the right to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You have the right to have an attorney, like Mr. Abuxia, who can zealously represent you on this case. If you go forward today, the decision has to be yours. Not your wife, not your attorney, not me, or not whoever that officer was that arrested you back at the Meyer, incident.
Okay.
You have the right to go forward on your own decision, and it should be based on the truth. Now, if you go forward, there's no trial. Then you give up your rights that are associated with having a trial, like bringing in witnesses, cross-examining witnesses, take the stand yourself, be a witness if you wanted to. If you chose not to, your silence cannot be held against you. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So far, any questions, Mr. Wassenaar?
No, ma'am.
If there was something you didn't agree, you'd have 3 weeks to appeal it to the higher court, that circuit court. Do you live in Baldwin with your wife?
Yes.
And do you work?
Yes, not a lot right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm self-employed part-time.
How about her?
She doesn't work. No, she's on, she gets disability, so she...
Okay. Do you guys have any kids?
We have one stepdaughter and we have one son that's deceased.
Okay. I'm sorry for what you've had to go through there. Let me ask you about October 7, a year ago. We're talking a year ago, that Marketplace Drive Myers in Gaines Township, to the charge of retail fraud second degree. How do you want to plead, Mr. Wassenaar?
Guilty.
Do you remember the incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember being at that Marketplace Drive Meyer?
Yes.
During that period of time, you weren't living in Baldwin, were you? You were homeless.
Yeah, I was, yeah, that's one way to put it. Yes, ma'am.
Did you even have your spouse at that time?
My what?
Spouse, your wife.
Yeah, I did, but we've been together a long time, and we had gone through some rocky moments at that time when we were separated.
I see. Was that before or after you lost your son, this incident?
So our son passed away in 2012.
12, so that's a while ago. Okay. So then sure, but still difficult. October of 2019, when you were going through some of these difficult times, did you stay at that Meyer for a period of time on that day and take property that was not yours without paying for it?
Yes, ma'am.
What was it?
It was a toothbrush, toothpaste, some hair ties, and some hair trimmers.
So everything about grooming and toiletries, that kind of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
You knew it was wrong, fair enough?
Yes, ma'am.
And you'd had a prior shoplifting case in 2014, a couple of years after you lost your son, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that something similar where you're just stealing stuff that you need?
Yeah, that was spark plugs for a vehicle at the time. That was from Walmart.
Yeah. When you do the work you're doing now that's kind of sporadic, what kind of work is it?
It's automotive repair. And I have a few different clients that are like small-time used car dealers and such.
How far did you get in school?
3 years of Cornerstone.
Did you ever go to Grand Rapids Community College?
No.
Did you ever go through Kent ISD and take any of their automotive classes?
No, I haven't.
So when you were 3 years at Cornerstone, what did you study?
Bible and business.
Uh-huh.
Business through a biblical perspective.
Well, I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't think Jesus would be teaching you to steal.
Oh, of course not.
So what's going on?
You know, it's just been a rocky road ever since our son passed. That's not an excuse, but I caught a drunk driving that night. I actually caught two of them within months to follow.
Yeah.
And that's paralyzed my license, and it's just been a rocky road.
You've never hurt anybody in a drunk driving accident, have you?
No, never.
Was your son, did he die at birth, or what was he, a toddler?
He was 3 months old, and he was the pride and joy of our family, and he just passed away.
Okay.
In his sleep.
Yeah.
On Sunday afternoon.
I'm sure it has been extremely difficult, but it kind of seems ironic that you would dedicate 3 years of your study to a program like Cornerstone, and yet you'd still be involved in this stealing.
I know.
You know, and there are places you can go to get help, even toothpaste or toothbrushes. You could go somewhere to get help for that as opposed to become a thief. So you're smarter than how you're acting, even though you're going through an emotionally difficult time. And I'm not saying your grieving doesn't last a lifetime, but you've got to get moving in a direction that's positive because you're causing problems for everyone else's life in your family.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no excuse for it, Mr. Wassenaar. What's your age right now?
33.
Yeah, 33. That's an adult in anybody's book. Mr. Abuxia, I'll ask you whether you believe the court has complied with the court rule in terms of the taking of the plea on the retail fraud second.
I do, Your Honor.
Is there anything you want to say on behalf of Mr. Wassenaar?
Your Honor, just, he was down on his luck at the time. He was caught in a position where he was under the impression he needed these things, and the only way that he could get it was through Meyer. And I would ask on his behalf, it seems as though he's getting back on his feet. He's moved back in with his wife. Business is slow right now in the automotive repair sector. And so I would ask for leniency on fines if the court sees fit.
All right. Mr. Wassenaar, I'm not trying to add more problems to your list, and you are making progress, it sounds like, in a positive way. But this case is an inch away from a felony. Third time through is a 5-year felony for retail fraud shoplifting. You got your retail fraud second. You got the case that goes back to 2014 in Ludington. I don't mean to sound like a bearer of bad news, but if you don't get yourself stabilized, you're going to be doing time.
Yes, ma'am.
I give you a 1-year suspended jail sentence. You did the 25 days. You get credit for that. The other 11 months and 5 days are held over your head. You're not going to be on probation to us. I'm assessing fines at $300, which is really minimal on this. 75 crime victims' right fee, $75. 200 court-appointed attorney for a total of $575.
Yes, ma'am.
I did not order any restitution in this case, although realistically speaking, Meyer never got their stuff back that you took. I want to make sure that you're not back at that mire. Don't go there. If you're ever in Grand Rapids, do not go there, period. Are you with me?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know whether you have a faith-based life, and I don't talk religion in court hardly ever. But if your son, who died, watches down on all of us, you ought to be handling your affairs in life a whole lot better than you are. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, do it for his sake. Because realistically speaking, I'm sure it was difficult, no question. But his short-lived life does not dictate whether you become a thief or not. Are you with me?
Yes, Your Honor.
So move forward in a positive way and get on with your life for your stepchild and your spouse and the other people in your life that are important to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you'll be contacted by our court. We have that address that I referred to, the one up in Baldwin. So just make sure you respond to the mail that you get. Set up a payment plan to get this taken care of and start looking for other work. If there's not enough hours for your automotive, you better be doing something else that's productive.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Wassenaar.